and Yeshi. But really nice to meet you in that case. And so yeah, I want to start by asking a few questions, if I may, really just so I can find out, gauge my audience, and especially those guys of you. If you could just sort of, I'd love to know what you do. I heard that Zahir, you just said that, explain what you do. So I kind of heard that, but I'd like to find out what others do. I'd like to know if, I mean, you're here at Luca and Katerina's and Wounds Social. So, I assume you must be in some way connected with GeniusU. But if there's anybody who hasn't heard about what it is or anything like that, just let me know. And I'm going to sort of assume that we're very much newbies, but I'm not going to bog us all down in detail because GeniusU is a huge platform, and there's a very, very long story behind it. But I'm going to give you a bit of background, and I'll give you a little bit of introduction, as if you were a brand new user. But then I'm going to dive quite quickly into the bits that are in the title, which is how you might use GeniusU to grow your community and ultimately generate revenues. And by that, really, it's another way of saying how you might come along and do business with us on GeniusU. And I work from the basis that you're all already in business. You may have a product, whether it be online or offline. And that's quite interesting because actually it doesn't matter, because many of the people who are using GeniusU now only had an offline product and have managed to start creating income online merely by being around GeniusU. So if you can drop into the chat, just summarize in a couple of words, what you call yourself, what your title is. I'd also like to know where you are. I'm in Vietnam here, and I'll tell you a bit about that in a minute. And also just, say to me, I'm on GeniusU, I use it, or I'm brand new, and that will sort of just get me going to know who you are and what your level is. But like I said, I'll start from the start. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the platform, and I suppose it's only polite, even though nobody's asked me, to give you a little bit about myself. As you know, I'm Duncan Stanley, and my title at GeniusU is Community Manager, or GeniusU Community Manager. We've got quite a lot of community managers here, but what that really means is that I'm almost in the middle of the users, and there are nearly 2 million of them now, and the team and the company, as it were. So I try to always look at the platform and look at how we use it from your point of view, from the point of view of people that are coming from the outside. And there aren't so many of us in that position here at GU. It's kind of like a bridge. Most people work, my role is, most people work within the company, and most people who are using the platform are users, clients, whatever you'd like to call, students. They're on the other side. So my role is really interesting because it means that I'm kind of in the middle. So I've spent, as you may have read in the summary of the event, I've spent about 3 years now on the platform, and I do calculate that because I work quite a lot of hours. I must be getting towards the 10,000 hour mark now. Now, I know that doesn't mean that I'm an absolute master, but as our leader Roger Hamilton likes to put it, and I know Luca uses the phrase quite a lot himself, I like to think of myself as a leading learner. So I'm always learning, and I've spent the last 3 years learning about GeniusU, and it puts me in a really nice position. As Luca said, I am the person that people come to all the time, and I don't know, it sounded quite negative the way he said it, come to with their problems and issues, and I'm not sure what he said, but I feel quite privileged because I've spent so long on GeniusU, using it as a user, as it were. I report to everybody. I report to people who arrive here for the first time and have lost their password sometimes. I try to avoid that, but I do. All the way up to the board members, you know. So I'm in quite a privileged position. And I think it's based on the fact, like I said, that I've spent a long time on the platform. I use it every day. And I like to think of myself as something of as an oracle. So that's why I'm here today, telling you all, going to tell you all about it. I'm trying to sort of keep up with the chat while I'm talking, which I should know by now is almost impossible. But let's just go through the chat here so that we can find out who we are. Rosaline uses GeniusU every day. Of course you do, Rosaline. It's lovely to see you here. Rosaline's a member of our team. She's also a community manager. She works a little bit differently to me. She works with a lot of our very high level clients, and she works on a one-to-one basis with them. Thinking an exploration partner. I hate the term coach. Really nice, Helen. Yeah, well, we know each other a little bit now. We interact in the partner or WhatsApp and whatnot. Rosalind's in London. Katerina, I know who you are. So I'm on GeniusU as a citizen, says Yeshi. Since this past summer, brand new really. I'm a spiritual guide and transformational coach. I'm beginning to refer to my work as soul growth mastery. You know what's really, really interesting here? I think I've read Rosaline's comment and Helly and Yeshi's and obviously Rosalind's team. So the two of you that are citizen and mentor, as it were, of course, you know, the background is being a coach, and Roger's main audience has always been coaches and mentors and all of that. But it's really, really interesting that both of you guys all of a sudden don't want to be called coaches anymore and want to think of something new. And what I will say is that the whole environment that we work in here at GeniusU is quite futuristic because Roger himself is a futurist. And it's really nice to see that we've already, just in the first two comments, that vibe is coming out that, you know, we're looking forward, we're not happy with who we are, and we want to make an impact. And let's start by changing what we're called. I'll talk about it a little bit more in a minute because I already said that there are a lot of community managers here. And it's an interesting point. I'll leave it for a moment because I want to talk about my journey at GeniusU and how really it should be no different for you guys. We're all the same. And the way that I've been able to develop my role and express myself here at GU is pretty much the same as what you can do with your business on the platform and within our community. William says he loves the changes I've seen in GeniusU over the years. Yes, we're definitely going to talk a little bit about that. Okay, so Carol says, I have an occupational health company and also teach first aid training. I'm a qualified nurse, introduced to Genius through Luca's cookery class. Excellent. So I take it you're a vegan as well then? That must be the case. I'm not a vegan, so when I say as well, I meant as well as Luca. Must apologise. I have to leave. Oh, okay. Well, it's been nice to meet you, Carol. I don't know if this is being. Oh, it is being recorded, so you're welcome to get the kind of dive into GeniusU. And I'm also going to share a link. I will at the end. If you want to have a chat with me, you can book into my Calendly. And so I hope you watch the recording. And if you do want to have a chat, then Luca will pass the link on to you. Yes, he's not resisting the term coach, but looking maybe forward for something new. I don't know why I went off on a tangent there. It just caught my interest. The fact that you both at the same time said coach, but not really something better than that. Okay. So thanks for letting me know who you are, and thanks for being here again. I arrived in January of 2019 in GeniusU, and I'd spent 30 years. I'm 47 now, and I started before I'd left school, certainly before my A levels. And I had a very, very interesting, fun, and amazing career in entertainment, gaming. I've owned one of the world's oldest jazz clubs. I've co-written a award-winning Edinburgh Festival show with Johnny Vegas, who you may have heard of. I've toured the entire world with quite a famous reggae band called UB40. And my most recent businesses were based around the resurgent store, the reinvented street food scene in the UK. If you would like to have a look at that, you're more than welcome. You can Google Brum Yum Yum, which is a reference to food in the city where I'm from, Birmingham. You'd only need to put that in there. And my very most recent business before I joined GeniusU was a venue in Birmingham, England called Hawker Yard. Now, I won't pretend that you'll only find good publicity about me and my ventures, but after 30 years, I mean, you know, it's always going to be varied, isn't it? Carol's not a vegan. Okay, Carol, catch you on the recording.
She just loves good food, so it doesn't matter if you're vegan or not.
Absolutely, no, it doesn't. But I was making the assumption, Luca, that your cookery classes were vegan, and we've never, all the conversations we've had, we've never really got into the food thing. We've talked about food a little bit, and I know you're vegan now, and I noticed your vegan food club circle on GU, but I just made the assumption there. So no, you know. Have a look at Hawker Yard and Brum Yum Yum, and you'll see that I've been heavily involved in vegan food, and I'm certainly a backer, even though I haven't made the leap myself yet. Although the quality of meat in Vietnam is definitely pushing me that way. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Vietnamese meat, are we? To go back to me briefly before I joined GeniusU, my most recent business was that venue called Hawker Yard. It was a multi-purpose venue for just under 1,000 people. And it was a kind of pop-up because it was on a short lease for 3 years, right in the center of Birmingham. And through blood, sweat and tears, I built the venue myself out of shipping containers and pallets and plywood and stretch tents. You know, I didn't actually build it out of, you know, bricks, as it were. But it was a very, very intense time, and it was something that I'd always wanted to do because I've been involved in the entertainment industry, and I'd always had a dream of bringing a few of my very famous artists to my hometown, and it enabled me to do that. The reason I'm saying this isn't because I know you're really, really interested in my former life. It's because I reached a stage where I was very, very tied to my business. And even though I had a number of concerns and I had very, very high performing teams, and so to that degree, you know, I'd reached green level, I found myself at a stage in life where my kids had left home, as it were. It was all about the business for me, and the fact that Hawker Yard came to the end of its lease meant that it put me at a kind of turning point. I all of a sudden had options. Do I want to move on to my next thing? Do I want to launch, you know, give birth to my next baby, as it were, or is there another way out there? And it was only just by chance that I happened to meet Kathleen Hamilton, Roger Hamilton's eldest daughter, and she had very recently herself started to work with GeniusU, and she introduced me to some of the really, you know, the most basic stuff that we all rely on every day in our community, such as, you know, the Genius test and our wealth dynamics profiles, and I started to look into it a little bit, and I was very privileged because through Kathleen I managed to meet Roger really, really quickly within just a few weeks, and it was all just pretty much right place at the right time and coincidence. And I happened to sit down and have a one-to-one conversation with the sort of person that a lot of people would give their right arm to have an hour with. And he explained things to me in a completely new way, in a way that I'd never heard before. And he said to me, "Why don't you spend some time with us and my team, and I'll show you how to change your life." It was as simple as that, really. And he identified all of the things that I hadn't got and all the things that I had got, and showed me how to get my ducks in a row, as it were. And literally within about 4 months, my businesses were packaged up, passed on, and I found myself in Granada, in Andalusia, within view of the Alhambra Palace, learning flamenco guitar, which was one of my dreams. and almost in retirement at 44 years old. And I wasn't happy with that when Roger checked in with me, because I was really, really bored. And so he offered me the opportunity of coming on board at GeniusU and assisting Kathleen simply with running his Genius Entrepreneur Mastermind community. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. And that's how my journey started here at GeniusU. Not soon after that, I was back in the UK. I went to an event in London and I met Woon. I'm not sure if Luca was there, but I don't think we met. And I was really sort of at that event welcomed into the community in person, as it were. And I kind of got the feeling that I wasn't going to be Kathleen's assistant for very long. And I was really starting to find my feet. So that's me. I won't bore you to tears any longer. It's been a very long time since I've told that story, so I almost started to enjoy it myself. So now I'm here as community manager, and my job really is to support our partners, our Gem members, and our most active users on the platform. And their objective is to grow their community and ultimately generate revenues. So I'm going to share my screen in a moment, and we're going to take a look at GeniusU. I haven't asked Luca if he minds if I use him as an example for some of the things I want to talk about. So if that's not all right, let me know now.
Carry on.
Okay,
I'm okay with that, no problem.
Save me thinking fast. There are others, but Luca's one of my favorites. So I will be referring to Luca's journey more than mine from here on in. So, yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen. For anybody who hasn't seen GU, and I think everybody said that they haven't, but there might have been somebody there who's a newbie. But I think most of us know what GeniusU is all about now. And as we like to say, it's the world's #1 entrepreneur education platform. There are a couple of things that I wanted to point out on this page. GeniusU is home to the global entrepreneur movement, with over 1.9 million social entrepreneurs and impact investors collaborating together to grow their income and impact. Well, I would sort of rephrase that. There are nearly 2 million users of GeniusU now, and of course I don't deal with them all the time. When we talk about users, I mean, Facebook talk about maybe 7 billion users, but there are barely that many people on the face of the planet. So I don't spend my time concentrating necessarily on all of those hundreds of thousands of people that skip in and out of GeniusU, and I'm not going to concentrate on that on this call now. What I really want to talk about is how you guys can quickly get to grips with what GeniusU is all about when it comes to creating and selling, because that's really what it comes down to, isn't it? Now, that's what Luca's done. That's what many of our partners are doing. And it's not really even necessary to be a full-blown partner to make use of all these tools and start doing business on GU. Now, I'm afraid I'm not on the correct page. When you first come onto GU, you will come to what we call our clear view menu. And this gives us just an opportunity quickly to have a look generally at what's on GeniusU. I'm kind of aware of the fact that I haven't given a great background of what GeniusU is all about, where it's come from, but I'm working on the basis that as we're all regular users, we know that. So when we come to GU, we're a new user, and it's important to see it from this perspective. This is where people come and arrive at GU, and straight away you see that they've got content in front of them, and this isn't necessarily GeniusU content. If we look here, there are some examples of programs and tests that you can take. Now, of course, some of these are GU content, and actually most of these are on this section, but pretty soon, as we move down, we'll start to see that there is quite a lot of user-generated Content. The clear view menu is split into these sections: connect, learn, earn, act, and review. And I'm going to skip through these quite quickly just so that you know what's here. And then we're going to look at the important ones when it comes to using GU to create a community and build it and add value. And then from that, you should be at the point where you can start creating your own content in terms of learning modules, products, things like that. So GeniusU's a large community, and within that community, we all have the opportunity to create our own. And they're housed in what we might call a circle. In a minute, we'll come over to Luca's circle. Also under here, viewers get the chance to view all the mentors that are on the platform and all the students, and all of these are fully searchable. So if you're like Woon, if you're like Helly or myself or Rosaline or Luca, you'll already be a mentor on GeniusU, and you will already be listed on the mentors page. So straight away, as a new user, I find out about GeniusU, I come on here, I'll mention in a moment about how you might find out about GeniusU. You come on here and I'll start exploring. First thing I might want to look at are the mentors on GeniusU. So straight away, I could look at people who I might be able to find inspiration from, who I might want to connect with, and I can find out lots of information about them. And if you're at mentor level, then you're also on that list. And where you land on that list really is down to your mentor ranking, which is based on your reviews, and that's based on the amount of activity that you do and how much attention that you attract. But I don't want to spend too much time talking only about what people can use if they're at partner level, for example. I also want to make sure that I'm including people who are at lower levels, maybe even at the free user level. And at the moment, I'm just sort of looking at what people see when they come to GeniusU to give you an idea of how they might see you as somebody who has content and a presence on the platform. So that's kind of how what I wanted to show you there, sorry, was the actual connect section, because it's broken down into the circles. And now you can see here, for example, here's Tina's circle. It's a very large one, but straight away, right there on GeniusU, you click on that connect section of the menu, and straight away there, you've got Tina's community right there in front of you. Now, there are lots of places where you can create a presence on the internet. We all know we've got LinkedIn, we've got Facebook, we've got our Twitters and our Instagrams and all the rest of it. Some of them are a little bit more business leaning, some of them are purely social media. But I find GeniusU to be a really cool place because, for example, you can come along here and you can create content, and straight away it can be in front of a huge audience without, you know, having to be around for years and years and years, or having to spend lots and lots of money. So I'm just scrolling through this here because you can see there's a range of different entities within GeniusU, and I will come into them each a little bit more in a moment. Under the Learn section, we've got the curriculum, which is all the learning modules and the events and the articles. And I will just go into these a little bit in a moment, although if I go into them in great depth, it's going to take loads and loads of time. So I'll use Luca's content to refer to these. But I wanted you to really know what that Connect, Learn, Earn, Act review thing was all about, so you'll explore it for yourselves. So under the Earn section, you've got information about partnerships and the different memberships level. And then under the Act menu, you've got the store and the opportunities, and I'm certainly going to come into those in a little bit more detail in a moment. We can leave reviews when we talk about giving each other reviews. Now, each of us on GeniusU have a profile page, and it's really important that we put our energies into this. This is the place where everybody on GeniusU sees you. So I've kind of moved on now from seeing ourselves as a user arriving at GeniusU and what we might see. We know what the various areas of content are, and I'll go into them in more depth when we talk about Luca's content. But now let's look at ourselves on GeniusU, each and every one of us. And each one of us has got this profile page. Now, you'll see that I've got quite a lot of information in here about me. I've been around for a long time, and I'm sure if you go to Luca's profile and Wounds, they've been around a long time, and you'll see lots of information. It's important to make sure that you build this out as much as you can as a user of GeniusU. In the same way, if you think about your LinkedIn profile, you know, it's putting your best foot forward. So it's important that you do spend some time on your profile and make sure it's interesting, because in a moment, I'll show you about the content that Luca's created, and I'll show you how you can do the same thing. But it's important to know that if you don't start from the start and you don't create your own personal presence on GeniusU as best as it can be, then you're not really going to be generating as much interest in yourself, your own personal brand and your own communities as you can be doing. So really, you know, this is a long way of me saying make the very most of your presence on GeniusU personally, put your best foot forward, and make sure that you've dressed your profile up very nicely. You'll see that, of course, my company is a demonstration company, but I've listed my company here. My entrepreneur level I've set. I've got a little bit of a tagline about myself. And down here, I've got a nice long paragraph giving people what I consider might be enticing information about me. In reality, I ought to update this because now I've got much more interesting stuff to tell people about my journey at GeniusU. But you know, this was my background when I did my profile. It's important that you do this though, because as I say, all the time, people are searching for information about us, and we want to make sure that we've got the best stuff out there. You can access all of this by clicking the edit button here, and you can go in and change all of this information. That's your profile, and that's you. So now let's move over to the community side. I explained that, of course, GeniusU is a huge community, but within GeniusU are many, many, many other communities. And these will either be our own, such as the Genius Entrepreneur Mastermind community, or Roger's really, really high level Crystal Circle community that Rosaline works with. Or, for example, let's say Luca's Crypto Investor Club community. So now I'm moving into circles. As I said, a circle, it's what you might look at as a group on another platform. And this is Luca's one. Now, it isn't difficult to create this. So if you've got a presence on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn, it's hard work maintaining it. And if you have got a following, then congratulations to you, because I've put the hard hours in that game, and I know how time consuming and you know, all consuming it can be to grow a community on a platform. Now, when I was running Brum Yum Yum, I was really proud of the fact that my Twitter community was at about 15,000. And it was absolutely blood, sweat and tears over a couple of years to create that. And I want to contrast that with Luca's community here. And I don't want you to get the wrong impression. I'm going to explain exactly what I mean now. Luca, you can see there's 139 members in his community. It's not a large community at all. But what Luca's managed to generate in terms of engagement and business on the back of that 139 members, it's quite phenomenal compared to what I used to get from 15,000 followers on Twitter. And I don't just mean a disparate audience. I mean, these were people that were fully, you know, interested in my brand. They were local. It was a tightly curated audience. So I'm not kind of comparing this to somebody's disparate fan base. It's really relevant. So the reason I'm saying this is because I'll go back to it. If you've managed to grow a following on any platform, it's very, very hard work. And I'll be honest, doesn't really necessarily give you the returns that you might expect. So you start a Facebook group and you manage to get 2,000 people in there, and it's really, really, really hard work. And tell me if I'm wrong, but in my experience, and most people I work with's experience, if you can make $1,000 off the back of that, you're doing really, really well. And you're probably having to pay for adverts as well. It's really, really tough. So I won't pretend that building communities is easy and turning that into business is easy. And it's not even easy on GeniusU. But what I have noticed is that by doing it the right way, you don't have to create a huge community to start generating fairly decent revenues. And again, I'm not going to talk all of Luca's business. I'm not going to give you his figures exactly, but I will give you an idea of entirely what's possible. And I'll also just remind you that this is not an advert for Luca. He didn't have any idea that I was going to be using him as my example today, tonight. So this is Luca's circle, and he's got 139 members in here. And you know what a circle in GeniusU is all about, probably now. But what you'll notice is, if you look across the tabs, there are various places to keep all the important things that you need to manage your community here on GeniusU. And literally under these tabs is everything you need to go from a person with a laptop and a bit of content to provide to a fully fledged business making fairly respectable revenues. So without having to give you a full tour of a circle, and I will give you a really, really quick one, the discussions tab is where you manage your community. This is where you invite your members in to chat with you. It's where you upload your content. And Luca's getting really, really good at it now because he runs his weekly crypto hour, as you might know, and I'll talk about it in a second. But every Friday now, Luca's live streaming crypto hour into his circle. And that's a really cool thing on its own, because just to take a step back a moment, Luca's created his circle around, for his community. He's got his 139 members in here, and as easy as wink, they can jump in here every Friday at 8 a.m. UK time, click play at the top of the stream, and join into Crypto Hour. So already there, we've got a really, really nice environment that Luca's created for his community. And it isn't rocket science. He posts quite regularly, and as you probably know, I mean, you don't need to know what a stream is explaining to you, but this is a place where you could manage and chat with your community, and this is what Luca does. The next tab is where Luca lists his events. So I mentioned that Crypto Hour was every Friday, and this is what an event page looks like on GeniusU. I do need to redesign the header image a little bit so that it doesn't look so messy, so apologies for that. But really all I'm showing you is that, again, very, very easily, it's all done in what we call a WYSIWYG builder. I can do it, Luca can do it, it can't be that difficult. You can load up your events straight away for your community right here in your circle, and give all the relevant information so that people can register and join you. And this is how Luca's partnership journey really started to take off. I'm going to give a little bit of background if I can, Luca, if you don't mind. And I'm sort of ad-libbing a bit because it's about you. And I didn't really expect to do this myself. But Luca's obviously, you know, nobody's from a crypto investor background. Cryptos are really, really new. And Luca, like me, regards himself as a leading learner. Of course, he's been involved now, heavily involved for a number of years. But if we look at the whole crypto game in relation to everything else, it's very, very, very new, isn't it? So in this way, Luca's a really, really good example, because I guess, you know, Hella, you may have been a coach for a lot longer than Luca's been involved in cryptos. Woon, I don't know, I mean, how long you've been involved in podcasting now, but it may well be longer than Luca's. And I'm not trying to belittle or diminish Luca's expertise here. I follow every word he says on the subject. But all I'm saying is that what Luca's achieved here with GeniusU and his Crypto Investor Club is quite new, because Luca's been around, Roger, and Wealth Dynamics and GU for many, many, many years now, long before he became our crypto partner. And the reason I'm saying it like this is because you yourselves can take your niche and you can do exactly what Luke has done, what Howard Kane's doing, what or loads and loads of our other partners are doing. And we're following quite a time-honored format here, and it's working quite well. So Luca created his circle, which I've showed you. He started sharing it. You know, we got the 139 members in here. And the next thing he did was create Crypto Hour, which is a weekly hour of news, chat, opinion, and a live Q&A with Luca. Now, we don't approach this like we're all coming to consult the Oracle. What we do know is that Luca's got a really, really nice, unique approach to what he does. He's extremely diligent, and he goes out and does lots and lots and lots of research for us. So for people like myself who are in Luca's crypto community, that hour is absolutely golden, and it's packed full of value. Now, again, I don't want to diminish or belittle what Luca does, because I'm in awe of the guy. But Crypto Hour takes an hour of his time live, and I don't know how many hours, but a few hours of research. And on the back of this, Luca's built a whole product suite. And this journey is available to you as well. So we've talked about Luca's Crypto Hour event. I want to skip straight across to Luca's product range. Now, this is Luca's or crypto investor presence within the GeniusU Store. I got here from his circle because it's all held within there, within his community. But when I click on products, it takes me to the GeniusU Store. And now I'm looking at Luca's products. And you can see that he's got a range of opportunities for people to take part in there. Now, Luca ran his Crypto Investor Micro course back in August, I think. I had all these on slides. Luca, I'm going to ask you to chip in now and update me with some figures. How many people do we have on the micro course? Okay, Luca's not listening. So
yeah. No, it's we've got now about 20 people.
Sorry, was it 20 we had on the micro school? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no. Are you talking about the micro? The micro school was, I think, 12.
Okay.
12
and now on the micro school course, we're on 20.
On the done for you now, the mentoring.
Right. Okay. So you mean your top line course here, you've got about 20 on now.
Yeah.
And we had on the micro school about.
We had 12, if I remember, 12 in the micro school. Yeah.
Two is when we looked at this.
You're fine now.
I think I'm breaking up, aren't I?
You're fine. And we had 12 on the micro school, and I think out of 12 10 joined the mentorship.
Okay, so I'm kind of feel like I'm playing things down a little bit, but the reason I'm kind of looking at these numbers, guys, is because when you're around GeniusU, and it's not just GeniusU, it's everywhere on the internet these days. People are talking about how you make 100 grand, how you make your first 500,000, how you get your first 10,000 community, and all the rest of it, and it's all fantastic figures. So I'm using Luca as my example because Luca and I have worked quite closely together. We're both, we're down to earth people, and I want to give you real world down to earth examples. So if I can just bring you back and remind you, Luca's community isn't huge here on GeniusU. We've only got 139 people who've ever joined the circle. And from that, what do we get, Luca? I think, we get about 20 people to Crypto Hour, 15, 20, 25. Now, it could be that Luca's content is so insanely compelling that he's an absolute standout member of our community, and people are falling over the Luca Bernardini brand. And again, I don't want to diminish what Luca's done, but that isn't the case. Other people are doing very much the same thing. So from that 139 people in the circle, we maybe get anywhere between 15 to 25 people on the Crypto Hour event. Now, we've been running Crypto Hour for I think about 3 months, May, June, July, there or thereabouts, when Luca launched his micro school. Now, the micro school was a week of live training, but when we talk about a week of live training, we're talking about Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 2-hour sessions, I think, and then another session on the Friday. So it isn't like turning up to school and teaching a class for 8 hours a day. It really is getting that content into a couple of hours of live over 3 or 4 days, with some backup materials. Now, Luca really knows his game well. And if you get onto a call with Luca for 2 hours, the content is absolutely intense. But again, not to detract from what Luca does, you could say the same about the vast majority of our mentors. Of course, you're not going to be successful unless what you've got is of high quality. But if what you've got is of high quality, it needn't necessarily be very difficult or time consuming to turn that into community and revenues. So to get back to what we were talking about, Luca's membership and crypto hour translated to a micro school. Now, Luca's micro school was priced at $470. And I think of that, I can't remember the figure, but I think 60% of those people, roughly, maybe it was nearly 70% of the people that joined that micro school went on to join Luca's 12-month Done With You program. Now, I know I've made it sound quite easy and quite a quick journey, and it wasn't easy, and it took quite a period of time of mine and Luca's to put all this together into something that ended up in revenues. But it was quite a simple process that you yourself can follow. Now, if you wanted to do this, you could come on to GeniusU, and as a free user, you can create a private circle and you can start to bring people into your community. But I must be clear, it isn't really possible to do what Luca's done without having some form of paid membership on GeniusU, because in order to create the micro school on GU, in order to create the micro course, in order to create the public events and the public circle, you do need to have mentor level membership. However, and this isn't a pitch, just giving you the information, you can access that from as little as $27 a month now. So if the things that I've showed you so far, and I'm going to show you more about in a moment, if it looks like the kind of thing that you might want to get involved with, and you might want to sort of look at seriously, then it's not going to cost you very much money at all to dip your toe into the water. And I'm more than happy to have a chat with you about it. And if you're already, like you are, Haley, Woon, I know we've spoken about it, you're a partner level, Woon, and we've spoke about doing this together. I'm going to share my link from a Calendly at the end. So everybody, you're more than welcome to book, have a chat, and let's go into it in a little bit more depth. I wanted to show you Luca's degrees because that's kind of like the missing link in what I've been showing you. So we looked at the circle and the place where Luca keeps his community. We know that he created an event and it's weekly and people come to that and it's all about the value. I try to put a little bit of a pitch in at the end of each one, but Luca doesn't even really do that. It's just about value. And we looked at how his products are in the store so that people can come along to GU and they can find them and they can buy them. But there are a couple of what you might consider to be missing links here. So the first thing I want to show you are Luca's degrees, which look quite similar to the store because, his products are in the form of degrees, but they're here. Now, I think most people here will have seen a degree before, but I'm opening up Luca's micro course. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to show you firsthand just how really easy it is to use these tools and how you yourself can create a degree just like Luca's. You do have to have that mentor level membership, but apart from that, it's not very difficult at all. And so what we've got here is the Crypto Investor Micro School. And each piece of content is laid out in a step. Now, excuse me if you've already completed micro schools. I think there's one or two people on here who haven't or completed degrees, but it's laid out in a way that you don't really find on any other platform. It's fairly unique. And all of the information that you've got on this first page tells you everything you need to know about what's within here. And then when you begin it, which I will do here now, you'll start to enter the steps. And you'll see that what we've got in here is quite comprehensive. But this is a video that Luke has created just in the same way as I am talking to you here now. And put together, this creates a comprehensive course. And quite genuinely, by the time people have watched these 4 videos, I think, maybe 5, you know, you're set up with all the goals that Lucas sets out at the start of the micro degree. And if you want to create something like this, it really isn't very complicated to do. I'm going to show you where you can get the training to do that in a minute. So that's a view of one of Lucas' degrees and the kind of thing that he sells here on GeniusU. Now, how do people find Lucas products and degrees is an interesting question. And this brings me to something that I wanted to show you that I've started to notice relatively recently about GeniusU that I hope is going to be of value to you. I'll go back to what I said about, I'm coming to Google and I'm doing it in an incognito window. I'll explain why in a second. I talked a little bit about creating communities online, whether we do it within Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or wherever. The fact that it can be hard work, it can be really hard to get a start. It can be hard to get what you do in front of people. And all along the way, most of these, platforms are really gearing up to ask you to spend money on advertising. So not only can it be difficult, can it be hard work? Can it be wearing? Can it be frankly quite disappointing at times trying to get an online business off the ground in as much as growing a community from scratch? It also can be quite expensive. Now I've come to Google here and I'm sharing this with you for a reason. Sorry about the build-up. I'm in an incognito window, and the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want you to think that what I'm about to show you is reliant on my cookies or because I go to certain pages or perform certain searches. I'm going to put into a Google search, and I'm in Vietnam. I don't know if this is location dependent, but you know that Lucas' community is called Crypto Investor Club. And I'd like you to just take a moment to think about just how many crypto investor clubs, type websites, things that allude to crypto investment, at the moment, there are literally millions and millions out there. Google don't actually put on the page anymore, do they? How many pages there are in your search. But I just want to search Crypto Investor Club. Now, at the top, we have got this one here. That's a private group of cryptocurrency investors. Don't know, may have been around for years, maybe a huge group. But I just want you to notice right there at the top of the search, the second thing on Google is Lucas Crypto Investor Club. And that's even including results for Crypto Investment Club. Now, I won't pretend to know exactly how these search engines work. Somebody might have a smarter answer for me. But when I put into a Google search our members' content or I search for it, quite lately, it's coming right up at the top of Google now. So to me, this is the kind of thing. I've spoken to dozens and dozens of SEO experts in my time, many different digital marketers, people that are going to build me the ultimate landing page and the ultimate lead magnet. And it's expensive and it's hit and miss and it's very time consuming. And all I want to really impress on you guys is that Luke has got his small community in GeniusU. It's only been around since, I think, oh, I've lost it now. I'm sorry, guys. It's only been around since about May. And if you search Crypto Investor Club on Google, Luca's community pops right up there. And to me, for everything I can show you about how easy GeniusU is to use, how all you need to do is create your circle, make it engaging, put a bit of content in there, and then frankly talk to me about how you're going to put products into the store and get them sold. The really, really powerful thing at the moment is that GeniusU has got this huge presence on the internet. And I think it's number one in Rosalind's search. So yeah, maybe I do a lot more crypto searching than you, and I do a hell of a lot. But I just think that that's a really, really powerful thing, and something that I don't know you can get anywhere else. Now, guys, we used Luca as our example. I showed you my profile, and I think I showed you that it's important if you're on GeniusU to definitely start at the start and make sure that you've got a really nice profile. I showed you Luca's circle, and I haven't showed you how to create a circle. Don't worry. I've showed you Luca's products and his events, and I haven't showed you how to create any of those. But I hope that I've impressed on you that what we've done with Luca and what we're doing with lots of our other mentors on the platform is a very similar journey. Get that presence online, get yourself on GU, get your circle created, start to load things of value, create an event, put the event in GU and stream it, and on the back of that, start to create products, which may be in the form of degrees or may not be in the form of degrees. I just brought on some new partners, Glenn and David at Gold Survivor .nz. These guys are precious metal dealers, and they also deal with the survivalist community. I'm saying this because those guys are going to be selling gold bullion in the GeniusU store, and they're also going to be selling training on how to get involved with precious metals investment for the future, much like Luca does with cryptos. And I'm saying that because what you've got that might go in the GeniusU store and that you may be able to build products and a brand around doesn't necessarily have to be what you might think of the old style or you know the idea of a coach or a trainer or whatever. Please do have a look in the GeniusU store. I noticed that Scotty McClure now has a range of tantra training products. So if you're feeling tantric, that's in the GU store. I'm just putting this out there just to let you know that it really isn't the old days; it is the new days, and there's so much variety and so many things that are starting to really turn people on and make money on GeniusU now. You don't need to feel in any way limited. Now, where was I coming to? I talked about products and I talked about the store, but there was certainly something that I wanted to show you that wasn't either of those. But I'm just going to quickly go to the store for a moment because I did want to bring your attention to that and opportunities, and then we'll go to some questions. Please take time to have a look through the GeniusU store. There's so much in here now, guys. I know I just sort of explained that we've got everything from tantra to crypto to mindset dynamics and all sorts in between, but it's a great place to start. Have a look through the store. It does cost you money to put something in the store. Of course, you do need to have that basic mentor level membership. And when you sell things on GeniusU, we do take a percentage. It's 10% for offline products and 30 for online products. But it's really, really simple to get the journey going and get on here. I've just remembered what it was I wanted to show you. But before I come to that, I'd like to show you the opportunities page. Now, even if you don't have products ready, even if you don't have you're not ready to create a circle and start building your community, you can always come into the opportunities page and create an opportunity. Now, there are loads and loads of different things in here, and I probably won't be able to find it while I'm here because I think it's on page 6, because I usually use Alison's opportunity where she's asking people to review her book. You can come in here, you can click on create opportunity, and it's anything you want it to be. You can be looking for team members. You can be looking for people to collaborate with. You could be looking for somebody to review your book. You could be looking for somebody to have a chat with of what's your next steps. But I really want to impress on you that this is for you to use, guys. You don't have to have products. You don't have to have a community. You don't have to have anything. You can come straight in here to opportunities, and you can start putting yourself out here in the community. And these are getting loads of traction now, because these are not only on the GeniusU site for people who are logged in and using it as we are, this is also on the Genius Group site. So this is going out to lots and lots and lots of people. And you remember what I just showed you on that incognito Google search. You come in here, create your opportunity, you will find it ranking pretty highly on Google really, really quickly. So it's another really powerful tool that you guys can use to just get your presence out there, get your objectives rolling without having to have products or anything to sell or anything like that. Final thing that I wanted to show you before I'm going to go to some questions, stop talking, is that when I was showing you Lucas' circle, and when I was showing you Lucas' products and his degrees and all of his content, I didn't show you anything or talk about how you might actually create this stuff. And I don't need to, because I've got it all in a degree here. This is the Partner Like a Pro with GeniusU degree. And in here, I cover the things I've talked about and much, much more. I'll start with your profile, and I actually show you how to add the things that you need to add. I go into your GeniusU dashboard, which is a very, very expansive subject. And there's so much to find out about within your dashboard that I never ever cover it on a call. I always bring people to this degree. It's here in your drop-down menu. And it's got all of your loads of what you might consider to be CRM features if you're a mentor level member. It's got all your affiliate features if you're a citizen level member, and then it's got your member features and all of your progress and your background and your connections on GeniusU there in your dashboard. So talk about that, and then I go from uploading your company to creating your circle, listing your events and your products and your opportunities, and then creating degrees, all there in that Partner Like a Pro micro degree. So I'm just going to drop that into the chat. Now you've got that link, you've got access to it regardless of what level you are at on GeniusU. If you haven't got the link, you'd need to be at least mentor level member, because all of this stuff is in the gem circle. But I'm sharing that with you so that you can get straight in there, and you can start watching the videos on how to create all this content. The other thing that I did promise you, I'll just stop sharing my screen, was a Calendly link. Now, this is a link for a chat. So the appointment's only marked out for 15 minutes. But, you know, if you need more time, you're more than welcome to it. But it's there to entice you to come and talk to me. No, if you want to know more about how to use GU and the features that I've spoken about, I mean, there's so much. And whenever I do this kind of call, I sort of think, well, I've got an hour to talk, and I get an hour into it and I've literally only scratched the surface. So maybe I need to find a more efficient way of giving more stylistic information without going into too much depth. But I'm more than happy to jump on a call with you individually and go into any more of the features in depth. And of course, I can always point you to further degrees and videos that'll increase your knowledge. Finally, before, if there are any questions, either drop them in the chat or unmute yourself, but I don't see any at the moment. I do want to spill the beans a little bit. And I don't want to sort of talk family business, but what I will say is that I showed you Luca's circle of 132 members. I told you we've been running Crypto Hour. Now, Luca does Crypto Hour weekly, which is unusual. Most of our partner events are monthly, but the crypto space, it's so fast moving that, you know, he does need to do it weekly, and we wanted to do it weekly. So he's been doing that for a few months now, since May. Nevertheless, that's only an hour a week. We did the micro course school. We now have built off the back of that really simply. I mean, I literally put it together. I took Luca's recordings from the micro school and built those into an online micro course. And it didn't take me very long. It took me about half an hour. Now, I'm not an expert, but I'm good at it. It wouldn't take you more than an hour to do that. And that's now an evergreen product that's in the store that people can buy. It doesn't really take any, if I can put it this way, any effort of Luca's. It doesn't take any time or input. And it's there in the store. Now, on the back of these products, on the back of that little community and the Crypto Hour, Luca's well into 5 figures now. He's not halfway to 6 figures. I don't really want to talk absolute figures, but I think he's probably going to be touching $20,000 off this little sideline of his here on GeniusU. Now, I'm really, really proud of Luca, and everything he gives us is huge value. But I'm sure Luca will be the first to admit that it's not a full-time job yet. And, you know, by the time we put 12 months into this, I know we talk about huge figures and they get bandied around and they may seem impossible, but I don't think it's going to be impossible by the time we get to the fourth quarter. Seriously, that Luca will have generated $100,000 in revenue. That's got to be our target, and I don't think it's outlandish. So, you know I make it sound easy. I know Luca makes it look easy, but if you have a skill set, if you have a niche, and you're prepared to work with us to get things moving, then it isn't fantastic to say that you can add 100 grand to your revenues in 12 months. Did I end on a pitch? I didn't mean to. In opportunities, do we need to put things in there that are complementary? No, you don't. But if you have things that aren't complementary, then you might as well put them in the store, because then you can put a price on them. You can put a buy now button. You can put your PayPal details into GeniusU so that then the whole e-commerce thing is taken care of. So I'm going to give you an example. Excuse me. Share my screen. And, excuse me. Where are my opportunities? Oh, it's the worst thing with Zoom webinars, isn't it, when they start clicking through all their screens? I'm very sorry about that. I'm going to open opportunities up again, and then I'm going to go to the store as well. Thanks, Ellie. Thanks for your time. See you around. So the range of things that can go into the opportunities section is almost limitless. And if you're looking for people to collaborate on a project, I mean, if you're looking for people to collaborate with you on a client basis, but it might not be entirely bound to a product, then absolutely opportunities would be a good place to put this. When you get to the stage where you have got a product pathway, and the most successful ones are along pretty clear lines here. I mean, you can't do better than go into Luca's products in the store and have a look at the fact that he's got what you might call a DIY product at a low price, about $270. That's his micro school. It means you go in there, Luca doesn't really have any one-to-one or personal interaction with you. You've got all his content and you do it yourself. That's $270. And then his next product that he's got is $470. That's his micro school. Now that's pretty much the same content, but that's delivered personally live by Luca, and you get his personal interaction. So that's the next level up, and that's what you might consider to be, that's really a done with you product. Now, Luca's a bit of an exception because his 12-month fully interactive, fully inputted product, he still calls done with you because, of course, he's in the investment space. So he can't do it for you. You have to do your own investments for yourself, but he does it with you. But that might, you know, more realistically or more commonly on GU be known as his done for you product. And so he's got those 3 levels there. He's 270, he's 470, he's 1470, DIY, done with you, and done for you. And that's kind of how the most successful products are placed in the store. But if you want to talk about business opportunities, client supplier relationship kind of opportunities, then absolutely you can put them here into the opportunities section. But I do want to just come back to the store because I mentioned e-commerce, and of course, see Isaiah, and I lost everybody. I've come back to the store because it is really, you know, an inner-box solution here on GeniusU, because you have got everything taken care of for you, in as much as it doesn't take a great deal to list your products here. Now, I'm looking at Luca's, but if I choose a different mentor, this was the example I wanted to give you. Del Lewis. Products. He must be updating them, unless I'm not in the right place. Unfortunately, I was in Luca's section. What I wanted to show you, and I can just tell you about it. Our partner Del Lewis, he runs Venturepreneur Hour. He's on a similar journey to Luca, only he's not. He's got a completely different niche. He's got some products in here, and they're really completely offline products. One's an ebook, I think. The other might be a physical book. But it really was as simple for Del as to just come in here and list them in the store. And that might apply to you. You might not have an ebook ready, but you might already have a program, or you might already have a product that you want to list. And once you've got access to the store, you do need mentor level to get into here. I seem to be having trouble finding Del's products. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure why, but really the thing I was trying to show you. Here we go. They're all Del's products. He's added lots more. That's the thing. I didn't notice that he'd added lots more. But you see, these are just ebooks, and they're $47 and they're $67. But there's nothing else behind it on GeniusU. If you buy this, you come through. You can pay for it online. You'll be sent that ebook automatically. You'll get your payment into PayPal. GeniusU will deduct their 10%, but you don't have to actually create any extra content to get to the stage where you're putting things into the store. So maybe a long way to answer your question there. Was there any more for any more? Is there anything you'd like me to explain that I haven't touched on, or anything that I have touched on but not made clear? I'm more than happy to do that. Or if you've got any other questions, drop them into the chat. And if not, I'm happy to hand back over to Luca for the rest of the social.
Well, the one thing that I wanted to mention maybe is that kind of like doing the journey. Obviously, it's not just that you put your products out there and people buy them, but obviously people need to get to know you and like you for who you are and what you have to offer. So it took a while. Obviously, first of all, when we started doing Crypto Hour, it took a while to get people getting used to the content and getting used to me personally. So basically, they need to get to trust you before they start engaging with your content and giving you, first of all, their time, and then eventually their money as well. But it's kind of like it's a process that takes a little while. But I think it's really good because if you start from from a place where you want to give value, and then eventually that comes through, and the people that need your products then emerge and start interacting with you. Those are the conversations that you want to have. Is connecting to the right people, and then being able to have a frank conversation and see if it's a nice fit.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, completely have to agree with what Luca said. And don't let me give you the wrong impression. I hope I wasn't giving you the impression that whatever you've got, you can sort of get your tennis racket and drop it into the GeniusU store, and you'll be able to sell it. It isn't like that at all. I mean, if you have products that already sell, the ebooks that I showed you of Dell's, he does already sell quite a lot of those on Amazon, and he did put them on GeniusU, and he did start selling them quite quickly. But my book wouldn't sell on the GeniusU store straight away, because it isn't an established product, and I'm not an established author. And Luca's quite right. What's worked for Luca, in my mind, is above all else consistency, because Luca's brought value to his community. And as much as I wanted to stress that it's a small community, and it's not the kind of thing that you have to, you don't have to have thousands and thousands and thousands of people in order to make a success of it, but it does have to be quality. And even though Luca's communities might look small, it's very well engaged, because Luca's there every single week with Crypto Hour, and what he gives us is very unique, and we can't get it anywhere else. So of course we're very interested, and Luca's quite right to point out that without that, the whole plan fails. You can't replace that part at all, regardless of what platform it is. So there aren't any magic buttons, and I'm glad Lucas sort of reminded us of that, because maybe I do get carried away sometimes. I make it sound easy, and it isn't, but it's entirely possible. And that's important to remember. Yes, you had your hand up. Did you want to come in?
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, Duncan, thank you so much for, you have made it really clear that it's maybe not easy, but it is simple. So yeah, it seems possible for everybody. And so my question was about engagement when we create a circle. In comparison right now, I'm mostly using Facebook, and one of the things that I'm doing there as a quote unquote strategy is to post up something that's very, very short and inspiring, hopefully inspiring, and sometimes thought-provoking, that will stimulate people to go within and to sort of come up with something. And that's my jam. I'm the inner world kind of woman. So I'm wondering, compared to that, what type of engagement do you imagine is most successful in our circles? Would it make sense for me to do a one-liner type of question in my circles every day, or does it need to be something that's more giving them some deeper value content and then answering questions? Or can you help give us a little bit of a better idea of that?
Absolutely, yeah. What I've noticed works on GeniusU the best is actually the same as what works on almost all platforms. By far, the most successful content is video. And I mean by far. When I've worked with mentors that have had great value, really, really nice posts, lovely stuff to share, the thing that's made a difference straight away is a video. And it doesn't even have to be a great video. I don't know why. I think we all spend a lot of time on a screen. I think GeniusU isn't particularly a particularly highly visual platform. And so I think when you happen upon a video of a person on GU, it attracts your attention. And so by far, I would say video is go that way. If you didn't post anything other than videos, regardless of the content, you'd be doing better than posting anything else. After that, free stuff, downloads, free information is really, really popular amongst our communities. They tend to value that really, really a lot. Luca does, talking about Luca again, but he is good at it. Luca's stream is very newsy because that's what Crypto Investor Club's all about. It's about, to me anyway, and I think a lot of our members, Luca's there to help us wade through the jungle of information, and having regular news items landing in that stream, I find extremely interesting and makes me want to check back into the stream. Now, this goes back to what Luca's opinion and judgment, and he's built that trust up over a period of time. But I'll tell you now, from here on into the future, if Luca's got something to share about cryptos, I'm probably going to want to read it. So although it's taken a little while, the payback's huge, because Luca's spent 6 months now building my trust with crypto news. And in 6 years' time, I will want to know what Luca's got to think about the latest crypto news. So it's all tied in there, isn't it? You know, your content with that rapport and relationship that you build with your community. But on the face of it, video by far, that would be the simple answer. And then if you can create unique content that your audience can download and keep, however simple it might be, they love it. So, you know, a very short ebook pamphlet type of thing. Alison Wentworth Ross produces really, really nice infographics all the time, and everybody wants them. They download them, they click on them. They send me messages all the time saying, where can I find that latest infographic? And my opinion of them, I do say this to Alison. I say, oh, not another one of your fashion wheels, because to me, they look like they've got cartoon ladies in fashion clothes all over them. But actually, they're infographics about things like micro degrees and how to build circles and stuff like that. And her own thing that she does, which is vibrational marketing. And people want the downloads. So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for putting it more succinctly than I ever could. Videos, downloads, keep it current. I often worry about how I'm going to fill an hour, and then I'll find it really easy to spend 15 minutes answering a question that could be answered in 3 words, apparently, 6 words.
Duncan, I've got a question.
Cool.
You know, for people who are buying from the store, are those mainly from TBC, or are there more people outside of TBC buying?
Okay, so in the TBC, only other TBC members are buying.
But say, I mean, if I relaunch my group coaching, what should I expect? Would I expect most people who are already in TBC who will be interested in buying, or would it be safe to say, just like half the people from outside TBC and half from, you know, the rest of GeniusU, or like what could I expect?
I see what you mean. I don't really know in terms of, I couldn't say about ratios what to expect, not because I wouldn't know how to quantify it, because I haven't even looked at it. I really wouldn't know. But what I could say is that it's 2 different audiences, really, because the thing about Trusted Buyers Club is that it's self-contained, isn't it? And so the one thing you do have is that everybody within Trusted Buyers Club is automatically motivated by the rules. You know, they need to spend some money every month. So you kind of got a little bit of a captive audience there. And Trusted Buyers Club, I have noticed, can be good to by nature, is that then...
Sorry, I think you cut off a bit.
I've cut off. Did I freeze? Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. So you've got that little captive audience there, but of course the other side of Trusted Buyers Club is that you have to spend back into the club itself. I think the fair answer would be in both places if you can. because they are different audiences, and there is a genuine incentive for people within Trusted Buyers Club to spend money with you. But on the other side, you also have to then spend some money within the club. So realistically, you don't need to be. You can put your stuff on the store, but if you can
No,
be in Trusted
I'm
Buyers Club
already
as
a
well.
TBC member, so I'm just
Right, I
trying to
see.
understand. You know, like say like when Luca, you launched yours, like what was your experience?
Well, we did. I don't think we did. We put it in TBC, Luca. I don't think we did we?
Yes, it was before we actually started doing the videos actually. But I still, to be honest with you, I still don't understand how the Buyers Club, how's the Buyers Club work exactly. I think it's it's not the best experience for me.
I think it's important also to note whether what you've got is going to be attractive to Trusted Buyers Club members. Because, I mean, I know that Alison's had success in Trusted Buyers Club, but what Alison does is she kind of, everything that she's got is pretty much targeted towards GeniusU Mentors. It's about supporting them to use the tools. So people in Trusted Buyers Club are going to want that, aren't they? Whereas, you know, as Luca quite rightly says, unless there's a huge market for crypto investors in there, there's probably not going to be a lot of mileage of putting your time and effort into Trusted Buyers Club anyway. And that might apply to you as well, Woon. But if you're in there anyway, then of course, go ahead and list in both. But no, I'd probably echo what Luca said. You, unless what you've got is really, really ideal for the Trusted Buyers Club people.
No, I think
not going to be a great deal of advantage in going in there.
No, I think my understanding was there was there's more people buying because of the Trusted Buyers Club, but I think based on what I've just heard, I think it's kind of it can be both ways.
Yeah, I would say the other thing about the TBC is that it's nice in one way that, you know, people are compelled to buy and compelled to spend. But the feedback I've had is that it's great if there are things that you would buy anyway. So Alison mentioned this. She wanted some digital marketing support. She was going to buy it anyway. So the fact that she had it in the Buyers Club available to her was great. But she wouldn't have liked to have been in a position where she was having to buy stuff she didn't want to buy.
Yeah. Yeah, so Duncan, I'll be booking a time with you because I need to rethink my community and products on GeniusU.
Sure, really welcome to do that one. And we spoke about it before. Maybe there's something that we can do in collaboration, because I know that you want to, you know, explore your podcast niche and all the rest of it. But it's a funny thing, isn't it? In as much as podcasters. So you've noticed that I've started to grow the events like Luca's and the other partner events that are in that are on GU. And maybe you and I could kind of explore your partnership niche by providing podcasts for the other partners, something like that. You know, I mean, it's great that we could definitely do, say, a masterclass event on how to run podcasts, but I'm not sure we could do a how to run podcasts hour every month. We would be better off running podcasts for other partners and kind of exploring it that way, to my mind. But of course, let's have a chat about it and see what you think as well.
Yeah.
Any more questions? We're coming to the end. It's nearly 9 o'clock. Any more questions that you want to ask Duncan? Gone.
I am going to do that. I won't say the word that came to my mind. I'm going to do that thing that people seem to do on GeniusU, and I'm going to share my profile. So you can find me on GeniusU, and if you want to leave me a review, you can.
We'll do. And we posted your Calendly link again, so if you want to chat. with Duncan.
Yeah, sure. And guys, keep that handy if you want, or message me if you lose it. I'm always available for a chat.
Although it will be a challenge to get it in 15 minutes.
You told me to fill an hour and a half.
No, I meant the call, the 15-minute calendar call in 15 minutes.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant. We've got a case of the pot calling the kettle black here. This is because I told Luca he needs guests for Crypto Hour.
No, it's been great. Thank you very much. I think you cleared the process for for the presence on Genius. Although it felt a bit uncomfortable to be promoted. Thank you very much. I wasn't aware that you were going to use me as an example, but it's actually a good example because I actually came completely from zero. So I didn't have a product already. I created a product, and I thought I created on GeniusU because it was a quicker route to market than having to create a website, etc. So it's kind of a good example how you can go from, if you got good content, how you can then put a product on a platform like GeniusU and start promoting and start getting sales. So thank you.
Yeah, it's nice that you put it like that, Luca. I'm sorry it took me an hour and a half to explain that, but Luca just put it really, really succinctly there. And what I would like to just say, if I may have a few seconds more, is that GU isn't perfect. It's in development, but that in itself is an opportunity, because even as Luca and I have been working together, and I haven't even shown him some of them, limitations that arose to me while we were building Luca's content, we've now developed on that alone. So even though things aren't absolutely perfect, it's a great opportunity to get in, because even in some small way, you can affect the development of the platform. I'll talk to Luca about it when we next chat, but there's something that I noticed when we were running his micro school that I thought, well, this could certainly be improved. I'll mention it. We used to only take YouTube videos. And the problem with YouTube links is that anyone can click on the link and then they can go and get your content straight out of YouTube, even if it's not a listed video. So, of course, Luca's got his expertise that he's selling in his micro school. And it appeared, I thought, well, somebody unscrupulous could pay the $470 and then share these videos with their entire Facebook community. And we would never know about it until we looked on YouTube and saw that there are 1,000 views. And just think about that. So now, on the back of that, we spoke to the developers, and we can now use Vimeo links. So that's fully secure. People can't go and nick your content.
Fantastic. That's great.
How it's not perfect, and it's a work in progress, and it is. But the upside of that is that once you get involved, then you can actually take an active part in development in that way.
That's really good news, actually, because something that was concerning about YouTube, obviously, it's public.
Well, I didn't share my concerns with you because I knew you would take them on board.
No, I knew it already. Just it's the only way of doing it on GeniusU at the time. So that's what we had.
Yeah, absolutely, and there we go. So just an example, really, of how things are always changing and moving forward. Guys, thank you very much for your time. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you.
Wish you all a wonderful evening.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning,
Yes.
Duncan.
Thank you very much. That was so interesting, really, really interesting. I think you showed us some areas of GeniusU that we weren't aware of, and how to use it as well. So that was really interesting. Thank you very much. And I don't know if anybody's got one last question. Are you happy with what we said so far? I mean, I know you can link in with Duncan anyway to have a further chat about it. So anyway, we say thank you very much, and that was really interesting, and thank you for having taken the time to speak to us this evening.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Katerina. Thank you, Luca.
You,
thanks to you two for putting these wonderful socials together.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Duncan, and thank you, everyone.